So this will be a departure from my usual set of stuff. I'm gonna do some Trench Crusade things. There's gonna be five pieces of art that'll flash on screen on occasion. See, just swapped. Uh, Background for these. Outside of that first image, which is just like a generic splash screen I put up there just for the sake of having one. All of these are pieces of art I saw before I even knew what Trench Crusade was. As such, these images matter a lot to me. So that's why they're part of the opening video for this Trench Crusade little thing I might be doing. Um, but expect more of this stuff in the future. Surprise! Anyway. Hmm. Sorry, just had to polish off my bottle of water. So, I might open this can in a second. This is one of the first videos I have a script for. Or, part of a script for. I just finished writing it. Um, I didn't bother double checking it. We're gonna start now. So, if you've been following this channel for a while now, somehow, you'll know that I'm Roman Catholic, with an interest in my own religion. A shocker, I know. You'll also know that I've been following Trench Crusade for a chunk of time now. As of writing this, I just found out that the combat biologist had received stats, as well as the Path of the Beast lore releasing today. Having been A. Gassed up by a friend of mine, and B. Inspired by channels such as Scanner Barkley and Feel No Paint, who I recommend you go check out greatly, I have decided to try my hand at doing some lore overview stuff for Trench Crusade. Alright, now to do that in typical annoying ass video essay thing, get it out of the way real quick. Or, you give a quick rundown of everything. So, in a sentence, Trench Crusade is hell versus heaven. Though, bear in mind that is doing Trench Crusade a monumental disservice. To explain it with a bit further detail, it combines a great many aspects of the Abrahamic religions together in a fun setting, not so dissimilar to the Great War, in an alternate history timeline dating back to the era of the Crusades, all the way up to 1914. It derives heavily from the Abrahamic religions, as stated before, currently focusing mostly on Christianity as opposed to the others. Of course, not to say they don't get their time to shine, their time in the spotlight, of course, Islam and, well, Islam right now, I believe that Judaism is in the works with the Hebrew Knights. Anyway, as for the Christianity on offer, I believe it is Orthodoxy specifically. I'm not fully sure on that front, but I'm practically certain of it. Again, I'm Roman Catholic, so that's my bias, perspective, coloring, whatever you want to call it. So I might not pick up on all the intricate details of Orthodoxy, but I like to think I know what I'm talking about. Now, to as opposed to that simple heaven versus hell explanation, here's a bit of a better yet still simple explanation. Crusade is the forces of the faithful being locked into a perpetual war against demonic forces. As are the faithful locked against war with the faithful, as are demons against demons. It's a war game. Maybe thinking to yourself, cheese underscore stick one. Now, that's all well and good and whatnot, but what is Trench Crusade? Well, my impatient bastard of a straw man, Trench Crusade is a skirmish tabletop war game. As of right now, it's all free. Or maybe it's just free as a whole. I'm not really sure. I'm not part of the development team. I don't really know how all that is. But you can go to the website right now and look at the playtest rules, read up on the lore yourself, and of course, admire the genuinely lovely art that adorns both the rules and lore. Let me just Trans Crusade. I want to make sure I'm getting the name right. I don't think all of it, but a good amount of the art is done by Mike Francina. Um, I'm pretty sure, I'm fairly certain, all the art on screen is drawn by him. So you can go to the website right now, which is, let me cite it directly. Just trenchcrusade.com, no caps, no spaces. If you type that in, you will be directed to their website. And then from there, you can go to their shop, rules, lore, news, frequently asked questions, and contact, all that sort of stuff. little lore tidbit of me. I do not stop praising Crusade to the people I know, like in person. Like, dude, their art top notch. Rules are very easy to grasp, for a war game. And the lore feels very thought out and quite fun, especially if you're like me and know a bit of the religious background that goes in some of it. Believe me, Crusade is absolutely worth your time. If nothing else, please do give it just a cursory glance. It is absolutely worth it. And I recommend Crusade highly to anyone who's even thinking about getting into wargaming or think the setting is cool. If you think the art on screen looks sick, go check out where it comes from, man. That again, 110 fucking percent worth your time. Uh, as I stretch my back, I think it's just thinking about it now. I'm pretty sure the art on screen could have been resized a little bit better. Let me just let it go to the first one again, and then actually wait, I can just damn you. What? Yeah, they're all a little bit differently sized. I can't cut off the black borders. That's bothering me now that I noticed it. Anyway, back to the script, which I will derail from often. Now, as my little strawman argument will put it, cheese underscore stick one, if I can just go to the website and check all this out myself, why would I even watch this video? And, well, to answer that question, I have no idea. I can offer my paltry knowledge of Christianity, again, through the lens of Catholicism more often than not, where I can manage to put it in, but aside from that, I'm pretty much just here to summarize and paraphrase the lore for you. Just remember, if you are going to watch this, I am absolutely not like the arbiter on all of this stuff. I can't confirm it. The lore is what's on the website. I'm just here to fuck around and have fun with Trench Crusade. Speaking of fucking around having fun with the lore, let's get started. Believe me, as much as I would love to get into the factions already, like start off with the videos with video like on the Trench Pilgrims in specific, I don't want to spoil any of the names, on the Heretic Legions, right? Uh, I will save those for their own dedicated videos. Like future videos will tackle specific things in a lot more detail. Because this video specifically is just overview or general lore stuff. Specifically doing the timeline, because that's all I really had time to write in the script. And then later on we'll do a bit more stuff like the Synod of Prophecy, like the Council of Saints, stuff like that. But right now it is just the timeline. My throat is very sore. I'm gonna really quickly take off my pop filter so I can crisply open this can. Now let's see here. I saw it twitch a little bit. I don't think it was the crispest opening. Let's slide this back on. Take a sip. Nice. Okay. All right, I'm ready to talk. So, quick summary is as follows. This is my little quick summary, kind of ish. Uh, Wait, no, fuck it, whatever. This is basically just gonna be me summarizing and like adding in interjections on the timeline that you can find on the website. So in the year 1099 or 1099, keep in mind in lore the current year is 1914. The Knights Templar Order of the Crusaders, after having reached Jerusalem, were tempted and committed what's called the Act of Ultimate Heresy, opening a gate of hell itself upon the earth, specifically in Jerusalem, dooming the earth into perpetual war. Jerusalem having been destroyed as a result. If you could imagine, this sucks for basically all of Earth. Now, real life background lore, the First Crusades did, because I know not a lot of people probably, hell, even I'm not the most knowledgeable on the Crusades. The First Crusades did manage to occupy Jerusalem for a while. The Pope at the time, who, well, a bit of a spoiler, not so much at the time anymore. The Pope of the time who ordered the Crusades, Pope Urban or Urbanus II, had died before he was able to be informed of the successes question mark of the Crusades. Now, what does this mean for Trench Crusade? I'm unsure if this is the case in universe, but I choose to believe this because it is funny. So imagine for a moment you're Pope Paschal? Uh, Paschalis, I don't know how to pronounce it actually. The second, the successor to Urbanus the second. And you find out that while the Crusades into Jerusalem to occupy the territory were indeed a success, it also led to the opening of a real fucking gate of hell upon the world, destroying the Holy Land and dooming all of Earth. And you didn't really order that, and the guy who did's dead now. Personally, I'd be fucking pissed if I had to deal with that. Also, I have no idea if that's like the next pope because fine details like that are kind of lost on this little summary. So, my point is, real life, the pope never was aware of the successes of the Crusades. I presume the same to be in Trench Crusade, however, I'm unsure. Anyway, in universe, the next important point within the timeline is the year 1101. It's something called the Year of Three Battles. Uh, you'll find a lot of things are called. This is the blank of blank, or the X of Y, and goes into a little tiny description, but the bulk of it is left vague with only like the kind of like you won't get like troop movements and stuff like that. You'll just get descriptions. Oh, I should have mentioned at the start. Canonically, as you will see in the website, um, the official and true annals of the church history, as told by Melchior Gesell, this is canonically a unreliable narrator. So everything I've said before and everything I'm going to say is unreliable as it is incredibly biased by what the church wants to be the history. I think the broad strokes are correct, like in universe, but a lot of it is bias. It's an inaccurate narrator. I'm not to like point fingers, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm pretty sure that's done as a way to ensure like continuity whenever they have to add new stuff. But I do think it's fun. Anyway, in the year 1101, the year of three battles, heretics who were reinforced with the armies from the third circle of hell conquer a solid chunk of the Levant. By the way, I'd recommend reading along with me. Uh, Levant is a word you'll hear a lot in Trench Crusade, especially for future videos. As far as I'm aware, it refers to the area in the Mediterranean where Abrahamic religions originate from. There are a few other definitions, but I think this is the one they use when they refer to the Levant. Levant? I think it's Levant. The next year, 1102, Antioch becomes fortified and becomes the place to defend against hell. Now, I want you to remember the name Antioch for later. It's very important. Now, 4 years later, in 1106, Kobar, whoever he may be, becomes the first tyrant of the 66, whatever that may mean. I have no idea what the fuck that means. Now, this one's really important. Like, actually, genuinely important. Absolutely remember this as well. In 1109, the Great Sultanate of the Invincible Iron Wall of the Two Horns that Pierce the Sky, by the way, I know that from heart, forms, or shorthand, the Iron Sultanate. This will unify Islam slowly, as the Great Iron Wall of Iskander reemerges, becomes fortified, and becomes a genuine issue for heretics to overcome and infiltrate. This will matter a lot more when we do a video on the Great Sultanate of the Invincible Iron Wall of the Two Horns that Pierce the Sky itself. But for now, just know 1109, this starts forming and becomes the heart of Islam. Later in the year 1117, an event takes place. This event is where 17 martyrs go on a pilgrimage to the Gate of Hell in an attempt to convert heretics. Instead, they are captured and tortured within brazen bulls for all of eternity, basically. Now, more background lore, but not religious. Not especially. So, if you read my fic over on AO3, it's a weird time to plug, I know, but it matters, I promise. In chapter 22, which is not canon, I reference this event. A small group of the faithful soldiers met by the main characters were inspired by the martyrs to offer salvation to their foes in battle before the fight begins. This event in particular, the martyrs being tortured forever, stands out to me a lot for reasons I can't quite pin down. I think it's really cool though, right? I think it's such like a fun little nice neat piece of world building, especially so soon after the Gate of Hell opened. Like I don't know, something about it just really like fucking stuck with me ever since I read that the first time. All right. In the year 1165, the Old Man in the Mountain and his Hashashins, I'm not sure how to pronounce that properly. Sorry. Defended the mountain fortress of Alamut. Despite centuries of siege, it stands proud. This will again matter more when we discuss the Great Sultanate of the Demons of Anwar of the two horns that pierce the sky in its own video. But for now, just know uh, the mountain fortress of Alamut is besieged constantly, never falls. It's also the same old man throughout all of the years. From the years 1215 to 1306, that is a whole 91-year gap, an event called the Wars of Triclavianism occur. I think that's how you say that. Anyway, it's where the church splits and undergoes fierce infighting. Naturally, the heretics capitalize on the opportunity, and it's stated that millions die by a sword and fire. Next, in 1346 to 1353, 7 years, the Black Grail is unleashed by Beelzebub, and tens of millions are stated to be infected. This is where the Corpse War begins, as it says. How exciting is that? The Black Grail is another faction, a heretic faction. Beelzebub is a key part of it. Uh, it's very fun, disgusting art. It's amazing. Now, in 1429, living Saint Jean d'Arc, or Jean d'Arc, uh, did I pronounce Jean correct? French, it's drives back the Black Grail from mainland Europe. Now, side note, I genuinely fucking adore how real people are used in Trench Crusade. Like, is it just me, or is it such a like an interesting thing to just have Jeanne d'Arc in universe like this? Sure, out of universe, it's not a big thing, right? She's only mentioned here and maybe like twice again in other places. But but hey, it's a fun, easy, and simple way to make the world feel drastically more alive than if they hadn't added something like this. And I just really like it. Also, there's the difference in how they treat Jeanne d'Arc as opposed to how she was treated in reality. Women fighters were very looked down upon in reality, but in an era where, fuck, dude, that's actual demons. Anyone who can pick up a sword is good in my book. Pick up a sword at the side of the faithful, of course. Now, this one's fun. In the year of our Lord 1477, the city of Argos is taken by God and is no more. Let's move on. Uh, Next, in the year 1503, the war prophet Angelus, guided by Saint Eligius, discovers orichalcum steel. This stuff, while expensive and difficult to produce, is lighter than steel and incredibly durable, still used in weapons and armor even in the year of 1914 in lore. Now, orichalcum is something that's going to come up very often, so keep it in mind. Very often in like other factions, specifically like the main faithful faction. Anyway, um, now for the curious, War Prophet Angelus does not appear to exist. I tried looking into it, couldn't find anything outside of course, French Crusade. Now, Saint Eligius does, or rather, Saint Eligius does. The E is an I in reality for some reason. That this is the patron saint of goldsmiths, blacksmiths, and metalworkers. He was known for creating coins before becoming a monk, if I remember correctly. Once again, this is a very fun way to tie real people and proper religious lore into the setting. It's just such a nice little wrap it with a bow mindset that I love. In 1545, yep, Antioch is completely and utterly fucked by some sort of mysterious infernal weapon. Now, again, this is a very in universe is a very biased perspective on the world. The phrase mysterious infernal weapon kind of makes me think it's like false flag, like, oh shit, we fucked up, blame it on the heretics, on the demons, just so that we can like save face and stuff. Either way, fun piece of lore. In 1573, the Sacred Order of the Dragon halts the advance of the heretics after Byzantium fell to them. 1 million heretics are said to have been impaled on the hills of Wallachia. That's badass. This order existed in real life. It was founded in 1408 and did style itself after the Crusaders of the Crusade times. Now, famously, I guess, notably, rather, the father of Vlad the Impaler, uh, I had his name written down that I forgot to write it down actually, and I forgot it. Anyway, the father of Vlad the Impaler was a member of the order. Um, this is nicely referenced in Trench Crusade with, the impalement of heretics, which I thought was very fun. Look into them; they're actually pretty cool. I just skimmed them because I don't really know that much about the different orders because it doesn't interest me super much. But what I did see was very fun. Recommend doing that on your own time. Next, in 1595, this is 50 years after the fall of Antioch, the walls of New Antioch are complete. So we bounce back pretty quick. In the year 1666, or, the year of six woes, the new heretic fleet captures Gibraltar. This will become the seat of operations against Europe, given that they have now gained access to the Atlantic Sea. The heretic naval fleet will be instrumental and very relevant, so do keep them in mind, right? So relevant, in fact, they are a heretic legion subfaction, a very popular one, a very popular one for kit bashes especially. And oh wow, the kit bashes I've found are amazing. Please go to the Trench Crusade Reddit and just skim through. Like, oh wow, actually, like beautiful kit bashes and like paint jobs, and oh, it's also good. 4 years later, in 1670, as a result of said sea raids, the Crown of England starts the construction of the Fortress of the White Cliffs. I wonder why it's called that. In 1703, a small force of Hebronites struck from their secret fortress rather, and destroyed the Templar stronghold at Acre. Now remember, this may sound like faithful infighting, and maybe to an extent it was, but the Knights Templar, Teutonic Order, whichever ones they were, are the fuckers that started all this shit. That brought about the destruction of Jerusalem, the gate of hell onto the earth. It basically fucked everything real good. So big ups to my Jewish siblings. In 1805, under the command of High Captain Ranga, the heretic naval fleet defeats the English fleet in the Battle of the Bloody Cliffs. Admiral Nelson is slain. If these are real people, I do not know. I did not bother to look it up. In 1866, in secrecy, heretics and a form of daemons construct submarines, the first submarines. Because their naval might really needed it. Apparently, who knows? 4 years later, in 1870, from Gibraltar, of course, the said submarine fleet is launched to the dismay of the faithful. Famine occurs as they target specifically merchant navies for a while. Isn't that fun? In 1872, the heretic forces storm the city of Rijeka? Rijeka? I don't know how to pronounce that. Said city is then fortified, and heretics begin their conquest rather of European mainland. In 22 years later, in 1894, an event called the Year of the Broken Trinity occurs. This is when Death Commandos, which are a heretic Legion member, as I'm sure you could tell via the name, have managed to successfully assassinate the Holy Roman Emperor, High Prophetess Aelia, and the Supreme Pontiff, all in unison. Naturally, this is bad. After this, Hell's nobility, commanding the heretic legions, launched an offensive, aided by tank squadrons as well, against the Levant and against mainland Europe, all while the faithful are in turmoil. Anyway, 5 years later, in 1899, the Church space program begins. After that, 8 years later, in 1907, the moving fortress of Britannia is finished. It's like this massive warship the size of a fucking county or something. I don't know. As of writing this, and hell, as of reading this right now, I haven't read its lore. I'm not that interested in boats. But hey, cool to see Britain's back on the seas, eh? 1910, Battle of Cordoba. The result is what I called a Pyrrhic stalemate. Heretic artillery devastated the city, but they're unable to access Hispania's heartland, so moot. Eh, it's the other side. Now the modern time of Trench Crusade, 1914. Both sides, heretic and faithful, or demonic and faithful rather, are preparing for large-scale operations. Right, skirmishes are increasing drastically in no man's land as both sides rush to gather information, relics, power, any strategically important spaces, things like that. So, sorry, I just finished off this can. Now, all of that's just the timeline. These videos are gonna be considerably shorter than the other stuff I produce. Like, I don't expect any of these to go over an hour. Um, well, that was just the timeline, the vague SparkNotes timeline. There's a whole hell of a lot more that'll get its own parts later. As I mentioned before, potentially like the Council of Saints and the Synod of Prophecies. What was it called again? T enter. Synod of Strategic Prophecy. Um, like they're probably going to get their own video. Not each, right? Council of Saints, Synod, and Observers will all be kind of like grouped together, right? I'll call it like information gathering of the faithful or something to that effect. Also, let me know how you want me to do these, by the way, if you're still here. As in, like, do you want me to do faithful, then swap over to something heretic, and then go back to faithful, go back to heretic, or something like that? Or do you want like batches of three, like three faithful, three heretic, three faithful, three heretics idea, stuff like that? Let me know how you want me to do this, and I will consider it. Anyway, a point here is that there's a lot more that'll get its own parts later. This is where the extent of my script reaches. Now, we're going to get into vague, unplanned, just talks at you, stream of consciousness rambles, which are always fun, aren't they? Now, I'm going to try my best not to just absolutely fucking gush about Trench Crusade and how much I adore it, but keep in mind, I like Trench Crusade enough that A, I based a pretty significant encounter in my D&D campaign's story. One of the enemies, of which there were four, is based on the Hunter of the Left-Hand Path from the Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent. The combat biologists inspired me to start an entirely new writing project. I fucking adore anything the trench programs stand for, and that sparked and kept the flame going of my continuous love of the Capriote hood. Capriote, something like that, whatever. And this art specifically, I fucking love the communicate anti-tank hunters so very much. Like, I can't claim to be an old fan in comparison to some of the other people, right? I've been following for Trans Crusade for like a year-ish, but it's been a lovely year. Again, I don't own them. I don't own models, right? Because I don't have anyone to play with. Though I could. I could badger people, badger people into getting a warband probably. It's easier to learn than fucking Warhammer is, and it's cheaper too. So hey, not that that should be the reason, but point is, I'm maybe a fan, but I'm not like on the tabletop side. If I touch on that in the videos, bear in mind I don't play, right? I don't I don't print minis, I don't paint minis, I don't do any of that stuff, but I really would like to. Um, so much of I today in the library, instead of doing work like I was supposed to, I did after the fact anyway, but instead of doing work like I was supposed to at my college, because every Thursday I let myself just sit in the library for a few hours doing work, so I don't have to do it at home. Instead of doing that today, I just, with a friend, we just went through the Crusade lore. I genuinely, I want to express this I know I'm cutting myself off and like repeating myself, and it's a bit annoying, but I really do want this to be hammered home. I love this setting so much, right? And it's only starting. Well, I guess it's still ongoing. They're still adding more things, right? Like I said, the Path of the Beast stuff just released pretty recently. If not today, I have no idea. Something like so basically, I'm in love with the setting and have been for a while. All the different parts of New Antioch, I love. Like I love seeing the different like sub factions, like the Solomon Solomonic Empire of Abyssinia, right? Like the Eerie Rangers, right? I even like the heretic stuff. And I'm not really big on, despite how much of an asshole I am, and despite how I look in real life, that is fucking homeless and scruffy, uh, I'm not really big on the villains in fiction, right? I'm not big on the bad guys. Obviously, I have mentioned a lot of times, I think demons are lame as fuck. I think, right, right. Uh, but point is, like, I'm never really one to be like, fuck yeah, the villains, fuck yeah, evil for the sake of evil, right? Despite that, and despite my heavy bias against demons because I am Catholic, it's in my blood, um, I really do like the Heretic Legions. Well, Heretic Legion itself is a bit, I was supposed to say it's a bit bland, but then I thought about like its models. I'm like, fuck, I like its models a lot. Like, I really like the, what's it called, Death Commandos. They look so good. The Werewolf Assault Beast, like, fuck, even if they are like lore-wise not that great. No, they're still pretty good, but like even if like comparison to the other factions, Lori's not that great. Fuck, their models are. Mm. And the Heretic Devil Raiders. Ah, man. Point is, I've never one to really want to be the bad guy in anything, right? Never really care about them outside of what like opposition they face, how cool they look, and how cool they like act. I really do like the way they play, from what I've seen. By the way, I do watch games, miniature game montage is the games I watch because they break down things. They say what calls they got wrong and why after the fact. They do think like they take it slowly, but still let you see everything as it's going on. I that's who I watch for my battle reports. Just wanted to give them a quick shout out too. Um, I'm never one to want to be the villains, but damn. And like at the start, I was like, oh yeah, if I was gonna play Heretic, I'd play Black Grail. They're fun. And then I got thinking more and like, fuck, man, I don't know. Heretic Legion models do look fun. The Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent, like its modularity intrigued me so. I can't wait to see the rules for Path of the Beast because that seems really fun, right? Of course, Trench Pilgrims captured my heart through and through. But fuck, if I don't want to kind of play Sultanate, right? Their sub-faction they just got, question mark? I don't know if it's just got. It's there like right there for all to see, of the Defenders of the Iron Wall. That looks fun, right? So much about Trench Crusade just like fucking works. Just like, and it just fucking works. End of story. Like I don't know how else to put it. It's it's so good. That's all I can really fucking say. It's just like it's so good. I'd like other things I love. Like I love how if nothing feels out of place, right? Beelzebub being brought up out of nowhere doesn't feel out of place. His wants to control creation, it doesn't feel misplaced. The Path of the Beast, despite being primordial in nature, doesn't feel out of place. The way Crusaders are treated is fun. All of the supplemental stuff. Again, the rules seem very simple and easy to get into. Like I wouldn't mind doing it myself. Like, what fuck, man? What else is there to say about Trench Crusade? Like, because there's a lot to say. Of course, there's a lot to say. My only issue is like I don't want to jump the gun, right? Like I'll talk about the mercenaries in their own video, combat biologist, the combat biologist, sin eater, right? I'm trying to think, combat medic, witch burner, stuff like that. Like all the mercenaries will be in their own video, right? Pilgrim stuff is going to be in pilgrim video. Synod stuff is going to be in synod video. The Great Sultan of the Invisible Iron Wall of the Two Horns that Pierce the Sky is going to be its own video, including all of his alchemists and Taquin creations and stuff. Like, oh man, that like the homunculus stuff alone is like so fun. But I don't want to like, okay, like, dude, like Russia alone will get its own video featuring Finnish people, right? Spoiler alert ahead of time. I feel like I want to end this now just so I don't like. Ugh. I guess I'll just leave you with this, right? I adore Challenge Crusade. I want to see this grow. I want to actively participate. I want to share my love of this better, as I will when I discuss Antioch, as I will when I discuss the Synod, as I will especially when I discuss the Pilgrims, as I will when I discuss the Cult of the Black Grail, the fledgling lore we have for the Path of the Beast. All of this stuff, when I break it down, I'm breaking it down not because like, oh, I saw Scanner Barkley's video, or oh, I saw Feel No Pain's video, and I was like, oh, I want to do that too. No, well, yes, but I'm gonna break this down for you because I love this setting, and I hope that's fun for you as much as it is fun for me to have made this video. Um, oh, also a final note. Uh, Keep in mind for tomorrow, because I will be uploading 9,000 contest readings. Well, I guess no better fitting place to say go with God then, eh, folks? Go with God, my siblings in Christ, and hope to see you in the other Church Crusade videos I'll do, because this is something I have fallen in love with, well and truly. I was thinking that since no, yeah, I'll finish off with this. As someone who writes as a hobby, I am upset that I read Trench Crusade lore because none of my settings are similar to Trench Crusade, and putting in ideas from them don't really fit, right? Like I can't put in fucking stormtrooper Prussians into my setting, not with their fucking orichalcum tank splitter swords. It just doesn't make sense for any of my worlds, and I'm so upset that I have been fucking. I got these brain worms I can't act on. It's so frustrating in the best way possible, and that's why I made these videos to get all these feelings out. I guess I don't go with God, my siblings under Christ, and I hope to see you in the future Trench Crusade videos I make. Be at peace.